So the term mysterial woman or a term mysterial does come up frequently in your book. And for anyone who this may be a new term for, is
Right.
there any opportunity to give some background on that?
Well, the word actually arose. We'd been doing then, 10 years of this research with hundreds of women in our programs. Basically, this came about from a sense that there was a model of leadership that we women had plugged ourselves into, and we'd become one of the boys in a certain way. And as much as women may have wanted something different, it was either swinging to the other side of, okay, then it's just the goddess over here, or it was the hypermasculine, and there was nothing in between. And all the studies on human development had been done using male subjects in the early years. Carol Gilligan at Harvard is one of the first women who started to say, wait a second, now we need to do some research on how women develop. And it became really clear to me, working in the leadership space, that the issue women were facing at the time I was doing this, it wasn't about giving them more behavioral skills. It was actually that there was a developmental move to make, like literally a developmental move, like we make from childhood when we learn to walk and we learn to talk and we learn to connect with a peer group, but that we didn't know that was happening. We didn't know that was going on. And so a lot of women were sort of being pressed, you could say, by the evolutionary forces up against the limits of a way of being, a consciousness that needed to expand, but not knowing that, were either stuck in the old mode or feeling they'd failed somehow because they got there and they weren't satisfied. Okay, so that was the work I was doing. And we started after years of kind of decoding what is feminine, what is masculine, what does this actually mean to wake up to our yin yang nature, you could say. We started to see these ways of being emerge that we didn't have a word for. And I'd been working, one of the main things was this ability to be with uncertainty or ambiguity or the mystery, to partner with things beyond the rational mind, to be with the unfolding mystery. The other part that we saw was came in the word medial, which was a word of Toni Wolff, who was Carl Jung's creative ally. And she had discovered this way of being for women that is about, holding a middle ground, a middle way, bridging between differences, holding different perspectives. So one day I said, these two words just came together in my head, and the word mysterial popped out of my mouth. And then once it did, it was very interesting. It was sort of like the naming, of the way Indigenous cultures talk about the potency of naming. Like something literally came alive. I was with my co-author, Dr. Susan Cannon, and the two of us just went, oh my God, we've just given birth to something. So that's the story.